Okay, good afternoon all. So Vijay Jethani here. So I'm cloud solution architect at Microsoft. So set the context right. We did the modern data warehouse implementation in our last session. So in this session, we will be covering basically the build and release part, and that we will replicate that to the staging and production environment. Okay. And apart from that, is the functional testing which we can carry out on this particular staging environment. Okay. So, so just recollecting or setting the context right, this was the architecture diagram which we set the stage for. Okay, so like we get started with the basic dev resource group creation, then we created the staging resource group, and finally we did with the production resource group. So as of now, from our previous session, we are done with implementation. That means all these particular resources are available to us in Azure. Okay, so if you see, I have all three resource group available in Azure. Moving further, these were the prerequisites which we needed for installation, and that is the reason we now are all set with the permissioning perspective for both from an Azure per se as well as from the Azure DevOps per se for us to carry out the further labs for today. Okay, so uh, today's lab on modern data warehouse, what are we going to do is what is the respective packages, or what are the way we have shown you that we have taken the sample from the parking snaps parking sensor application, right? So that was the main base of how we get the base data, right? So we try to get the data and replicate it here. Okay, now for us to actually replicate this across, we need to build that particular environment, and for that we require a base structure. So that base structure from modern data warehouse is given by this structure like landing, interim, and malform. So this is nothing but your Azure data layer. Okay, there you have a landing, interim, and malform. Landing stands for raw data. That means whatever is coming from the sensors. Okay, so that is exactly same being fetched here or provided here as a copy. Interim, you can consider this is a clean and transformed data which we'll be using for further stages. It can be for reporting, it can be for warehousing, it can be for anything. So that at this stage is kind of a clean data for us. Similarly, the bad data goes into the malform. So these are the three, I would say, hierarchical structure which is created with the help of Azure Data Lake as an underlying, or I would say the storage layer. Okay. Now, apart from this, obviously, as we are doing the data warehousing, okay, so we need to understand what exactly we are providing or what we want to run as a program. Also, what kind of the cluster environment is required for that particular modern data warehouse. Okay, so that is already in place for us from the implementation stage. Now, for this program to run, we already have a Python package. So only thing what we need is to build that and upload that to a respective cluster while we actually run that particular pipelining stage. Okay, so that is what is required. So this is the program for us which will actually do the modern data warehouse stuff. So this is nothing but the wheel package. Okay, so that we are doing here. Similarly, to get a exact structure, okay, so we have a schema in a form of DECPAC file which we are applying to SQL dedicated pool. Okay, so this SQL dedicated pool is also available as a part of our installation. So what we are doing as of now is creating the schema on fly for staging and the production once we actually go ahead from the dev stages. Okay, so this is the build part. Okay, what are the artifacts coming out of it will be deployed exactly the same from to the different stages, like you see the staging and the prod. So what we want to make sure here is, if you see the dev workspace here and as well as the staging and the production, so they are getting deployed from ARM templates which we produce here as a part of build. Okay, so what we are trying to say here is, while we do the practical as well during the demo, I will show you how that workspace completely is applied, or the complete artifacts along with the configurations data is actually applied at this stage. Okay, exactly the same structure is replicated to the staging. Similar is for your production. So this helps us for providing the way I said, like from the deployment or the development per se, it's all okay. Whatever the work we do on that particular, we are doing a lot of work from the cleansing, transforming that data. But when it goes to actually integration or in the production stage, that should be completely locked down from any changes, and it should be only for your business user to consume that. So that is what we are trying to replicate here with the help of build and release pipeline. Okay, so moving further, what we require for that is, first of all, our implementation is ready with relevant prerequisites with complete access which we have. However, for us to actually build that, we need some kind of repository integration within our Snaps workspace. So that is what is the first step we will do. Then following that, there are some configurations which I will show you step by step, which we have to do to actually create that ARM template for us so that we can then replicate that to the other environments. Also, I have clearly shown you while I was explaining that this is how this looks like. This is a parking sensing example which we have taken. Okay, and we are just getting the copy of that or raw data in landing. Okay, out of that raw, cleansing and sanding is being done and put in the interim. Now this is a staging. That means this is transformed in the shape of star for the data warehouse, but it can be anything. Ideally, this can go somewhere for reporting for some Power BI as well. That purely depends upon how exactly or in which form and shape you want the data to be consumed. So we call this as a staging. OK, so this is where from here actually this goes to a depending upon who is consuming that, whether that is consumed by a scientist in a raw format like interim format, or if we want to place it in a specific format to be consumed for the business user, we have to have the Power BI and all those things take care of here. But at the end of the day, security is the prime concern overall. So obviously each and every configuration related things, right from secrets and the connection strings are stored in the keyboard. Okay, and from our monitoring and the analytics per se, you see that we already have this from our first stage of implementation. Okay, so now let's start with our demo. Okay, so let's look at what we have as of now. Okay, from the code per se. Now, where we did the deployment of our development and staging. Okay, similar is the production. Let's do the deployment of our DevOps pipeline itself. That means what I'm trying to do here is I'm running this particular pipeline. I will show you that pipeline, how that looks like. This is nothing but again the CLI script, which I explain you in the, this is going to create the pipelines for build and release. Along with that, there are two more pipelines for QA as well. Okay, so that is being, actually this is nothing but a simple script for deploy Azure DevOps pipeline. Okay, so that's all it will do. Again, if you want to go through variables, go through exactly the same structure. Similarly, if you are passing something as a part of variables, you will see in the environment variables. Now here you see there, I was just copying that directly from the variables, but here you can override them if you want to override, which I've done here. If you want to override, you can override or just copy exactly the same. That means just mention that same variable here. OK, and just use them in the task, whichever way you feel better, just go ahead with that. So there are different ways of doing that. That is the reason I just kept this in a simple shape and format. Also, as we are creating pipeline, okay, so we will need the structure of or how we are connecting to our Azure DevOps. So that is the Azure DevOps URL is important for us. Similarly is for our branch. Okay, so that pipeline, what we are doing with that pipeline is important to us. And DevOps token obviously you know, and the project also you know. Okay, so this is how or I would say the environment variables, only these environment variables are required as part of creating the pipeline. So let's try to run this. And as of now, if you see what we have as of now, is these all pipelines, and also you can click on the all just to check out. There is no pipelines as of now which are named artifacts or QA. So these four will be there. I have renamed them to previous from the visibility per se, that these were the previous runs and not this the actual run now. So they will be called the Vijay MWB snaps, CD release, CI artifacts, QA Python, and QA SQL. Okay, so that is what the naming convention will be for those particular pipeline once we create or run this script to create that. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm just running this pipeline. It's running on Ubuntu, and main is the branch which we are running on. Okay, so let us see whether it creates the respective pipelines for us. So while it deploys, it's at the backend, it is using the Azure DevOps command line. Okay, so that is the reason we require a DevOps token for that. So it is now setting our internal context of Azure DevOps, and then now it has fetched the script. So while it goes through, I think you should be able to see the command line as well, and it will also echo the ID of the pipeline it is creating. It is a bit slow today, but I think we should be able to make it out. Okay, so this is, I think it created this pipeline with this particular ID 153. Similarly for snaps QA, similarly for CI artifacts, similarly is for CD release. Okay. So once it completes, I think this is how we create the pipelines with the help of the script. That was the first part to look at how we create this end to end. Okay. So if you now see in the pipelines and you click on all, you should see now CD release, CI artifacts, QA Python, and QA SQL. Okay, so these are what we created new as of now. Okay, so let's see any one of them. So let's look at artifacts, what we are doing with those artifacts. First of all, important thing to note here is from where we actually pulling this YAML. We are pulling this from the parking sensor DevOps folder, and there is a YAML file by name Azure Pipeline CI artifacts.yaml. Okay, so if you see the path to be included or the trigger, I have been very specific about read pipeline.md because I don't want to get this triggered for any changes on the complete that branching. Okay, so just to protect that from rerunning again and again, I have just put this include part here. Similarly, variables path. Okay, so if you remember, we created the library, or I would say, let me the variable groups for each. So these all will be used for respective stages under this particular pipeline as well. Okay, so some which we will be defined directly and some we will pull at a runtime while we do the that particular installation. Okay, so that will be used by the release mostly, but you can also pull them here for respective variables fetched from that particular variable group. Okay, so if I have to talk about this CI artifacts, what exactly we are building here. first of all, we are bringing that the Python package itself. The wheel package is there, but how do we package them and provide them to the other? So we call that as an artifact. Okay, so that is what we are doing here. And for this, obviously, I will require the pip install and what kind of requirements it needs before it can run is what I'm doing with this particular script or command line. Okay, and obviously there is this is a wheel package will be used by that particular cluster or from where we will actually run this modern data warehouse. That is the reason we wanted that to have that distribution available. Okay, similarly we will publish that as a publish artifacts, and whatever the requirements which I was saying here is also listed here as a artifacts. Okay, so basically what we are saying here is whatever comes our way from not only from an application per se but from the configuration per se, those are called artifacts. Okay, similarly there will be a static artifacts in case of DAC files or the SQL installers or solution which we'll try to build here as a part of this build. Okay, so those all things you will see with the help of either solution or some DAC file which you are going to deploy as a part or build as a part of this particular pipeline. Okay, so this is the one pipeline which we'll be running today. Which is the other one? The other one is for release. So let me show you the release as well. So for release pipeline, now this is more structured in a way because it is consuming the different branch as well, which does not exist at this point of time because we don't have any integration with the source control as of now. So first step, as I've shown you previously, we will do that integration so that we have the ARM template with us, which will be published to this workspace publish branch. Okay, and by default I'm referring this, that means this should get triggered by the build pipeline. So that is the reason CI artifact is a pipeline which will trigger this particular pipeline to run. Okay, now for each stages we have, as I've shown you, what we are doing is at the end of the day we are first of all bringing the binaries in, bringing the artifacts whatever we had. Okay, and third thing for us was the snaps environment itself, right? So workspace environment. So that particular deployment which we are doing here for each stages. So while I run that, I think it will be more clear. But at this point of time, just understand these are the three things which we are doing. Also, you can correlate to the diagram which I have shown you while implementation. So this here, this is for your dev. Similarly, this is for your staging. And this is for your production. I have purposely hashed this out because I have a different pipeline for integration test just to make sure at least we are through with the environment first, and then respective checks you can do depending upon, because integration test can involve n number of functionality. So to save you from that particular deployment, that is the reason I have separated this up. Ideally this should be with the integration environment, but to make it simple, or I would say just give you the one particular flow from deployment. This makes it easy to understand that exactly the same thing we are applying, and then we can go ahead and do the integration testing as a separate process. Or you can do the integration testing first as well and then do this deployment, either way as you need. Okay, so now let's run step by step. Now first thing which I've shown you, I will need the integration with the source control. So let me go with the dev environment. And if you have this dev environment setup, so you will have that particular control. Okay, so just open the Snap Studio. Okay, parallel, let me open the repository to just show you the instructions which we have put here. Okay, so this is exactly the same thing which I'm doing. Okay, I'm configuring the Azure DevOps repository for this. Okay, so I'm here. Basic checks, everything is online. You have access. So always do that checks so that if anything is not working for you, you sort that out first. Okay, let me configure this Git for this particular repository. If you are authorizing it for first time, it will ask you authorization, but as I'm already done a number of times, it will not authorize, or it will take directly the directory. Okay. So in my case, it is the Microsoft. So in that, I will just go ahead and select my organization name. Okay. And then following that, it will ask me the project. Let me put for snaps, and obviously our repository also named by the same name. Okay. Now this is important from where are we collaborating. Okay, so ideally most of the time this can be your dev branches, this can be the different branches. Make sure uh, whichever branch is made collaboration, you select that. Okay, that means that will be the master for this for the snaps as a development environment. So in this case I'm selecting main because that is what is the main, and what I want is this particular snaps workspace as an ARM template should be published to the workspace underscore publish branch. Okay, and I also want to give it a appropriate path so that it only publishes to that particular folder structure. So that is the reason I've also given you in this documentation itself. Make sure you copy this particular path so that the whatever the ARM template is created, it is created in this respective workspace under the snaps folder. Okay, and importing existing resources to the repository means whatever is there in your workspace at this point of time, they will get imported as an artifacts. Okay, and where it should publish, obviously if you are collaboration branch is main, select it main, not necessary, but this is purely depends upon how you structure this. Okay, so ideally this will uh, comply with what exactly you had in the development environment while you uploaded that in creation of your structure for modern data warehouse. Okay, so modern data warehouse, while you implemented that, we did a sample upload. So just make sure that is in alignment to what you did in that particular, if you have changing from the basic which I'm showing now. Okay, so that already contains resources, that's okay, but I'm sure that I have this snaps and workspace as a separate folder, so I will just click on apply. Okay, so while I do so, this will create that workspace directory and put that respective artifacts which are present in that particular repository. So I can show you. Uh, okay, repository is connected and I have this path. Let's go to this path. So going back to this repository, let me click on the repository, and if I go to the path, specifically exactly the same folder, if you see the workspace folder just got created, and what it did was it pulled down everything from the snaps workspace into this particular folder for me. Okay, so this is the one thing of bringing all whatever you have as a data within your repository so that you can use this as a reference. But this is not sufficient for me to actually create the ARM template. So what should I do for creating the ARM template? Now for creating an ARM template, I have to do some changes in the workspace so that it knows that the changes are done, and now I want to create a artifact or ARM template out of this. Okay, so let me do the small change. Let me start this trigger for this particular dev. Okay, now as I started this from stops to start, now once I click on publish, it will detect those changes from that particular branch. See, detected that I edited this. That is the reason it is now asking me that this is the publish branch. Okay, these all things will be provided as it is, which was there. Only change is this. So as of now, I have deleted that branch for. So if you see, I don't have that particular branch. Okay, so here workspace publish is what it will do, right? So once I click on this particular Okay, it will go and or one I can show you. I delete this again as well, because anyway it doesn't let me do the change. For changes it will overwrite as well. Also I can delete and show you that particular change goes there. Okay, so if you are in the branches, you can go and delete that particular branch, because what it did was initial configuration, it has created that branch for me. Okay, similarly whatever comes through, it also update that also I can show you, but if you want you can delete that as well. Okay, either way will work for this particular thing. So now again, while I click, it is again going to generate that ARM template and update that. I will show you that it updates that branch, and with that particular, we create the ARM template now. I think I will show you here once it comes through. Okay, successfully published, and then it should show me generating ARM templates. Okay, now this with the same timestamp, go back to that published branch, and it will show you just now. Okay, so what I did also, it will show you at that particular time. So ideally the first time you do, it will publish as it is without any changes, but preceding that, it will keep on overwriting that configuration. So you have to make sure you understand what exactly it changed based on what that. Okay, so this is how it creates a workspace environment for you at runtime. Okay, I did this change for trigger just to show you that the number of times you do want changes, it will actually update that ARM template for you. Okay, now we have the ARM template ready with us. Okay, so let's go back to the ARM template and see what exactly is there in that. So if you see, this is the workspace I have, and these are some linked uh, services within that, and in resources you see the description I have. There is a first run. Okay, so while it applies to the other environments, it will apply that first run as a uh, description for that. Okay, so let us check once we deploy it to the staging and the production. Similarly, it has some notebooks, pipelines. So everything what you are seeing here is everything which I have shown you last time. Like if you go into the manage part, okay, right from your triggers, then moving further on the notebooks and pipelines, that this is the pipeline, then scripts and the notebooks. Okay, everything it will be putting in the workspace environment to be deployed on integration and the staging. Okay, so let us try to run that while we create that particular environment. Okay, so so as of now, what we got from this is, first of all, we integrated this with the source control. From that, we got the repos where it published what was there, and along with that, it also published the workspace published branch. As that was already present, it overwritten that. So ideally, we could have deleted that, and so that it could create the new branch and update that. But in spite of that, you can also go and do the small change, and it will overwrite on top of that, showing you the two templates. This works kind of ARM template, right? This is the deployment. This is the parameter. So in parameter, I think it will be just small things relevant to the what exactly you are fetching from. Okay, so this is the we are trying to deploy on different environments. And while we deploy, we will make sure we give them appropriate staging environment names. Similarly, we will give the appropriate production environment names at the runtime. So that I will show you during a CD release thing. First of all, let us build that artifacts from the CI artifacts pipeline. Okay, so at this point of time, let's go and run that CI artifacts. Okay, so let me run this particular pipeline. Okay, so let me do that. So as I've shown you from the YAML file itself, it's going to publish, or I would say upload that package, which is nothing but the wheel package, static artifacts, which we were trying to build from the development environment, and similarly the SQL package, which is the DACPack file as a schema. So these all things it will be doing as a artifacts. So once it completes, it will go and actually trigger the release pipeline. So I will show you and explain the release pipeline as well while it runs. Okay, so it is fetching from the requirements what all things it needs for that. But this is nothing but, as I said, these are the binaries for modern data warehouse environments, which is kind of a program it requires before it can do any kind of work on top of that. And be patient while you run these pipelines. It will take some time. Okay, if it is slow, I think you have to bear for that particular minutes until that completes, because this, if you try to create this manually, this particular all task which we are doing, it will take at least couple of weeks for you to figure it out, the complete manual process of doing that. Okay, but because of the DevOps, I think we are able to finish this within a couple of hours. So that is the advantage I think you get if you replicate this environment in the customer scenario. I think you saving most of the time, and moreover the time of the experts by having them as a reusable artifacts. Okay, so that is what the main purpose of using this in the DevOps. Ideally, if you see, we had a lot of scripts, right? But you could have saved the time with the reusable pipeline that is getting triggered whenever is required, rather than going through scripts or maintaining those scripts, because it has a lot of dependency. First of all, the machines on which it will run, whether we have appropriate CLIs and all those things. But in DevOps environment, obviously we know the prerequisites of what that runs. So the environment is always stable than running on your own individual machine. So that is the advantages I think you can say why we're actually doing the DevOps for modern data warehouse. So let it finish for the now static artifacts. I think it started with the SQL package first. So as these are three parallel, I think it can start any. The reason it is running one, because I'm also using a free account along the way you are using. So if I add the other parallel jobs, I think it can run all of the three in the parallel, because there's no dependency between all three of them. They are just the artifacts for me. So as I said, be patient. I think it will take some time to get throughout the each and every stage, because these are kind of a modules inside this particular pipeline. Okay, so it is now done with this as well. Now move to publish static artifacts. Also, you can go within that what exactly the path it has uploaded. You can also get the container as well as from here. Okay, so you can because this is at the runtime. This is the complete path at the runtime. That is the reason you will see this in a script where what exactly we are doing and where exactly it is placing that. Okay, so we are done with the artifacts part. Now let's see the other pipeline, which the CD release. So it now actually triggered that pipeline, which will wait for our permission because it has the different environments and we try to deploy this in a different environments. So it need a permission before it can go ahead. So I will just view and permit this. Okay. So based on the stage, it will wait for us one time, first time, and will also check for what exactly it is required. So I am using the main and obviously the workspace publish from where we will apply that ARM template. So that is the reason it requires two of these sources. Okay, so now let's go to this particular stage. Now the difference, just see the difference between dev, staging and production. Stage and production looks alike because here we are deploying the Snaps workspace. But in dev, we don't have that Snaps workspace because this is the kind of the environment which we want to deploy across to Snaps. But while we do that, the complete YAML, how that looks like, I will show you that in a minute once it goes through. OK, because this will take around 20 minutes per stage. OK, so you can consider this at least 60 minutes for running this particular 3 stages, because this stage of deployment will take some time because it goes and checks for the previous packages. It removes those packages with the CLI and then updates the environment with a new package. So that helps us keeping it always clean and up to date with that particular environment. That is the reason that has been done here. So I think you will see that, but once it comes here, I think then I will switch to the repository to show you how that particular uh, stage looks like. Also, team, if you are trying to use the actual sample environment, which is nothing but the parking, the actual repository, I did quite a lot of changes or customize that to be make suitable, especially for deployment per se, in our this session. So if you are directly using that environment, you don't have a direct way to implement using DevOps. So make sure you are running those scripts directly on the CLI. Are not using DevOps there. OK, so if you want to use DevOps end to end, so this is the way you can use for the DevOps deployment. So you have everything in the repository, which I have already shared with you in our first session. OK, so it is now starting the DACPAC file deployment. Exactly the same structure and the way we used to deploy in our hands-on lab for SQL deployments. Exactly doing the same thing. It is replicating the schema for the dedicated SQL pool. OK, schema is done. Okay, this is for, again, as I said, for the package deployment, which is nothing but the wheel package as a binary which you're using. So it will go and update the CLI, update the package. For that, it will obviously have to remove the previous package, then update that one. Okay, so that is the reason it takes some time for updating the CLIs as well as to the package which we are trying to deploy on workspace. This is the same artifact which we produced from the previous CI artifacts. That this is what it's down to download here. So this all will be quick enough. Only while removing the older version of the package from that Spark pool, it takes some time. So this can take around 15 to 20 minutes as well. At times, if this particular machine is slower on the Microsoft hosted and runner. Okay, it is just trying to test whether that pool is alive. Okay, then moving from there, I think it will go and upload that package. Trying to remove the older one. Okay, so this is the step-by-step process. I think this is required in all production environments. I have seen through this in all modern data warehouse environments. That's the reason they have put now in the CLI as well. Okay, so now this will take some time. So let's go and figure it out what exactly was there in the CD release pipeline. So if I go to the main branch now with the DevOps, okay, in this you see the CD release.yaml. How it is being used, which I've shown you, is first of all from repositories. These are the two repositories it is doing, and each of the stages which you see are nothing but the YAML jobs, or they are modular enough. And what kind of the variables they require is based upon how we are providing the environment variables to them. So if you see here, it's just the environment variables dev and the service connection name. But if you see the other, like deploying to stages, they are actually calling out the stage library, release.staging, secrets.staging. Similar is for your production. They are using the library groups which we had created while we were installing. So they are calling these groups, and in each of the groups they are nothing but calling the respective names, like the dev workspace name, right? Similarly, if I have to go to the release particular secrets, like for staging, okay, this is for release staging, and there will be also staging secrets. So all whatever we are stored in Key Vault are here. So it is trying to pull at a runtime while we do those deployments. Okay, so that is the from the pipeline per se. But what goes inside the modules is the if you go to the DevOps templates, now for each of those which I've shown you from SQL or Snaps workspace, there's a separate YAML file. So within that YAML file, again, there are command lines. Okay, each and every command line will do one particular task. Okay, similarly will be for your integration testing. Each and every respective, what are the configurations, what is the VM required, and all those things will require how exactly you will perform, what are the environment variables required. That is the reason to make, as this is more complex environment, we are providing using the library of these variable groups. Without this, it will be very tricky to really get hold of each variables in the respective environments. And on top of this, while this runs, I will show you the jobs while it runs. Okay, so if you see that release pipeline, it is actually referring to respective jobs. So that makes it easy, or I would say a modular, what we are trying to do here. Okay, so each of those are using respective YAML files. And while we use the YAML files, you can specifically go to the those templates. Okay, say suppose I want to go for snaps. Now the heart of this is how do I override the ARM parameters, because that was just for dev environment. I want to replicate this all my linked services, all my naming conventions. So that is what I'm doing here with the override ARM parameters and using the variable group or variables, I would say. All right from my transform properties, everything naming convention, I'm using the override in the ARM template directly with the help of these override parameters. Ideally, I could have gone manually, but then doing for staging once, then stop, then do for production, do changes, then do that. Better to have a automated way of replacing them based on the environment variable they are fetching. So this is again the trickiest part to understand. That is the reason I'm showing you how exactly they all correlate. Even though this pipeline looks simpler, it is not bigger, but while it actually operates, it is quite big from the job perspective. like as it has the stages as well. If you see now, we are just about to finish the first stage, right? So like from now it has, I think, still some time left. I think it will take its own time for uh, this as well. So each and everything is temporalized in form of the jobs. Those jobs are nothing but the YAML files. Okay, variables are being pulled from the library wherever required. So that was the main reason as well. I have removed the integration out of that because it could have been even made it more complex. Because integration requires a base setup first of all, which I will show you once I finish this pipeline. That base setup is required for us to run before we can actually run the pipeline on this particular modern data warehouse. So let it finish. I think let's wait for this to finish. What we will do is, in interest of time, maybe this keeps on running. Once it comes to a staging, we will finish these three stages as production is identical. We will look till here, and then we will show you how to set up the integration part as well, because this takes some time. So this is the folder which you have to refer. Okay, so everything is here along with the integration pipeline. So these are the sub jobs. You can refer them meanwhile if you want to go through each of them. Unfortunately, we cannot speed up this, or maybe the one way to do with this is you go with the consistent environment, or I would say the respective version, so that this is not required. But ideally, if you are releasing the versions or maybe the packages are changing at times, this step will be required. But I think you can go ahead with editing this YAML for release and remove this particular job itself. So then that way it will be speeding up, or I think this will complete within 10 to 12 minutes. Otherwise, this will take to 20 minutes. So that purely depends upon how your environment is. For demo, it's okay, but for production environment, you have to think uh, what kind of version you are using for this particular packages. So meanwhile, we can check what exactly is done in our previous job. Okay. So apart from that, I think is nothing but it is just the setup of your service principal. Similarly, setting the build package is nothing but setting the path. Upgrade CLI, I think it is not required much here, because obviously if you are using the Azure latest machines, the hosted machines, then this will be up to date. But it purely depends upon what version of machine you are using. If you are using the Ubuntu 18, it will be you have to upgrade this to the latest. But if you are using 20, I think it is should come as a latest one. So it purely depends upon how you go with the respective upgrades at runtime. Artifacts, I think I have clearly told you that everything will come from snaps and they will have a respective paths from the source repository. It moved further. I think I believe it added that particular and customize it to the cluster. Okay, so it is able to fetch the node count as well for us now. So should be there within couple of more minutes, I believe so. So these are nothing but the commands which you seen in the job for snaps. Okay, so that is the reason, as I said, if you want to correlate, you can go to the jobs, go to snaps workspace and see what exactly the jobs are there for that. Okay, uh, I think it should be, yeah, that's correct. So rest, I think apart from that, I think you can also go to the respective other pipelines as well and look at what exactly those pipelines are. But mainly we will cover CI artifacts and CI release and integration, because this I think you can do anyway afterwards as well. So that is not of much as of now for at least end-to-end installation as such. So from the command line per se, which I was showing is here. So these are the three scripts it runs. Okay, first is for the old package show. Okay, and then it tries to update the pool. Okay, with while removing that, and finally it uploads that whatever we had and sets the required particular or I would say the pool to a specific requirements. So this is where we are taking much time as of now. So I think we are already 20 minutes down. So I think should be able to finish by 5 minutes more because that is what is the maximum delay I have seen. So 25 minutes, which I have seen, 21 to 25 minutes is what I have seen, especially in this particular task. While we can do one more thing here, apart from removing this old version, you can also split this in a different stages so that you can do it at appropriate time. Okay, to save some time. So that obviously again you will require different YAMLs and have to fetch them, or I would say duplicate the required respective releases. Okay, because obviously in the production environment, if it is to go through a specific change, then this would require a lot of uh, overhead in terms of who is looking at, or maybe who is giving the approvals and at what time, then accordingly move further on that particular pipeline. But this obviously can be removed if you are in the structured, if you are doing it regularly at regular intervals. So then this particular time will be removed. And this is as of now blocker, I would say. Like it takes so much time for us to proceed on this, because again this will repeat this for the staging as well until we reach out to a deploy snaps workspace. Exactly the same environment you will see here for staging, because this it has to give a similar structure what it had in the development before it can actually run those particular pipelines, or I would say deploy artifacts. Let's see. Okay, finally done. I think it took 19 minutes this time. So overall 20. So dev is done as of now. So now we have to have exactly similar from the artifacts per se. The only difference with the staging and dev is now it has to apply the complete environment from the workspace publish branch. Now again, if you remember, I've shown you I have to authenticate or authorize that. So it will wait for me to authorize that stage once. Once I authorize, obviously should be able to move further on that particular stage. Now, if you see previously, it was only having one, that is it runs that environment. But here I have to permit repository as well, because now I'm providing a different branch, which is nothing but the workspace publish branch. Okay, so once I give the permission on that particular environment, it now proceeds to the deployment of that particular artifact for us. So let's see, I think once it moves to the, it fetches the machine, should get started on that. It started with the wheel package. So this will again take 20 minutes of our time. But now this is happening at the staging. Okay, so team, as it will take some time as we did for the dev environment, so it will take 20 minutes. So meanwhile, let's see what we need to do for integration testing. Okay, so with integration testing, first of all, we have to go to the Snap Studio for dev environment. Okay, similar is for your integration environment and the production environment. However, the procedure is same for all. We have to go to the respective develop. Okay, then within that we have to run the setup notebook for each of the environment. So it can take some time while it connects to that node. Okay, so be patient on that as well. While it connects on that particular node, you will see that it will then able to run that particular notebook. So as of now, we are just attaching the respective workspace, okay, to that notebook. Okay, so that is what we are doing. This is kind of a pool which you are attaching to this in this workspace, and we are trying to run the notebook, which is nothing but the setup. Now, why that is required? This is required for us to get a initial setup, which we have seen, right? So first of all, how the link service are interacting the key vault. Okay, because we need to fetch some credentials. Similarly, what kind of the architecture, the storage layer we require. So that is what we need this workbook for. Okay, so first of all, this notebook is nothing but fetching the required information to get connected to ADLS, means Azure Data Lake Services. Okay, and then once we have that, that means once we set up the connection with that, then we will create a appropriate schema. Okay, now schema, as we have seen, this will be exactly same what you have been seeing, right? So this is a data warehouse, this is landing, this is interim and mol form. These are exactly the same what we talked while we were going through the session on how we will work through that artifact. Okay, so exactly the same thing which we have to replicate the artifacts from dev to staging and production. Okay, so once this environment is ready, it and you have access to that, so it should be able to run from that particular step by step from that notebook. Okay, you will see that this is now starting. Okay, once this shows ready, this will start and you will see the green check mark here. So we have to bear a minute until it connects. Meanwhile, also check on where we are. We are still about to update that or remove the old version of that wheel package. Okay, so we can come back again to that. So let's see the notebook, okay, which is nothing but the setup. Okay, so our cluster is ready now. Okay, so if you see step by step, it will run the respective task. Done. Now it will actually get that key vault and the ADLS setup. Okay, done. Now it is going to have the schema created for us in the dev environment. Remember this you also have to do in the integration and the production environment. And if you are running the functional testing on integration or staging environment, so in that staging environment, this should be done before we can actually run that integration or functional testing. Okay, so this all is done fine, right? It is trying to get the C data, which are nothing but the CSV files. Okay, semi-structure files. Okay, done that as well. Now it's trying to create that interim and error tables. Okay, done that as well. So we are completed our basic requirement of the dev. Same we have to replicate on the integration or the staging environment. So let's go back and see where we are. So it will still, the staging will still take some time. Okay, so meanwhile let's repeat this task for staging. So for staging, again we have to go to the respective resource group. Okay, so let's go to the respective staging group and try to connect to that particular Snaps workspace. Open the Snap Studio. Can close the previous one. Okay, so we are connected here. Again, the same thing. Go to the develop node of that or the blade of that and go to the notebooks setup. Okay, so we have to select the Spark pool. Okay, once you attach the Spark pool, click on run all. So that is again the same thing which we did for the dev environment. So once it attach, it is going to run the notebook on the staging pool. Okay. So I'm just switching to just see where we are with the staging deployment. Okay, so that is the reason I'm just looking at what we are having as of now. This will still take some time, I believe 10 minutes more for us to proceed towards the Snaps workspace deployment for staging. In meanwhile, let's look at the deployment of the notebook. Similar to dev, as it starts, it will show you the green check mark. That means the cluster is ready for processing the notebook. Also, if you want to see where that is, you can just go to that repository. Okay, you can open the repository and just look at the under DevOps, see the integration pipeline, what it has in it. Okay, so this is the integration pipeline. Okay, you can use by going to create new pipeline and use the ML pipelines with the existing path. Okay, so you can use this path for the integration pipeline. And once you do that, make sure you have the respective release and secret groups. So if you are doing the staging, then it should be staging. If you're doing the production, then it should be production or the dev. Okay. Similarly for the integration test, this should fetch your integration account, the service principal which we created. So you have to pass on the environment variables, that is nothing but the object ID, okay, or application ID, then secret and the tenant ID along the name. So that is what you have to pass in this group. You can also look into the library. Okay, so you can just go to that library and look into what exactly the integration testing has. Okay, so service principal ID, service principal secret, and the tenant ID. This is what you have to input in this integration test group. Okay, so this is the variable group for integration testing. Now let's come back to the staging. Yeah, it has started, I think, executing the respective task. Okay, done. I think we are done with on the staging as well. Okay, so similarly, we have to execute this on the production environment. So remember, this is required for us to have the base layer and the connectivity with the help of Key Vault as well as ADLS, the base setup of the data warehouse, landing, interim, and the malform folder objects. That is nothing but the data lake hierarchy. Okay, now let's come to the pipeline. Okay, we should be there soon, completing this particular removal of the old version. Okay, and once this is done properly, I think we should be able to deploy the Snaps workspace. Can take 5+ minutes more for it to get finished. While it runs, I think you can also do for the development environment as well. Okay, so that also you can do that if required. Okay, but meanwhile we are just concentrating for this to complete so that we can look at how the Snaps workspace is deployed as it is what we have in the workspace published branch. Okay, so this should be there in a moment. So it can take, I believe, a couple of minutes more. Okay, so now it will proceed towards the Snaps workspace. So it will try to download all the artifacts. Okay, so whatever we had, and then also will provide the workspace publish branch so that workspace ARM templates can be deployed. Okay, so this is what we are doing with the help of checkout of that particular branch. So if everything goes fine, it should be able to fetch those respective details. Okay, so all notebooks, link, link services and everything, whatever you can think of from an workspace perspective, everything is deployed on the workspace as it is. Okay, so all configurations are now available in the staging environment. Okay. So our staging is done. Now it will proceed to the similar what we have done for staging. So it will try to get the Snap's dedicated SQL pool and then getting all the wheel packages and finally the Snap workspace deployed to production as well. Exactly the same procedure. Okay. Also, as I said, you can go and run the integration pipeline, which is at e sample sparking. Okay, DevOps and integration pipeline. Just create an existing YAML pipeline and just provide this path for staging. As we have already run this particular staging, should be good to go with the respective integration testing. Now, as a staging environment is ready, that should be done for this particular lab. So that's all team what we have in this particular lab for today.